Please send up a spirit energy ball. Give energy in the chat to Kai so that we can
Please
make
don't
it.
bomb our house.
Not that kind of spirit energy ball. Two bans have now come from both IG and Top Esports. One jungle ban, two jungle bans, eliminating Kanavi's Jarvan. Man, they did not want to give the opportunity for Kanavi to continuously send it, even if it has not always profited Top Esports in the past. But the field is quite open when it comes to mid lane champions, although the Azir being taken off the board once again. I know that IG has dropped priority on the Azir, but even Top Esports did not want to give that opportunity away.
Interesting, though, because now you get Rookie on Annie, his most played of the split, alongside that Orianna. Was wondering if that was going to be the case, especially now with Talia gone. But it looks like they're going to be picking that up. So Top Esports, are we going to be seeing them moving in towards the jungle? I know that Kanavi has been trying more to get things like the Skarner back into his pull from what we saw early on. And Orianna for Creme would not be all that bad when you think about the ball delivery system there. Also could think about Nocturne. I know that this champion has started to creep back in, but seems more like a champion that you get towards when you get into, game 3s and later on in series.
Don't mind the Nocturne here. Could also be, shout out to our mods and social who have also been here for all 3 series. The question is, Wukong or maybe the Nocturne like you suggested? Because both champions work very well with the Shockwave as a ball delivery system. And I think just trying to deny that Annie-Wukong combo is something that Top Esports are heavily considering. And that ends up being the decision that they go with.
Yeah. Wukong just gives you a little bit more reach when you think about how this champions works. The Nimbus Strike and the Clone allows you to get into that backline and stop Annie from doing what she wants to do, which is slow down fights, crowd control large points of the fight. So I like this from Kanavi. Also gives him some skirmishing power early. We had noted in the very first series that Poppy was a champion that could have been available here for IG and one of Lay's best champions that we've seen from him all split long. Seems like for now, IG are going to prioritize the Gwen. Some of our matchups, though, are still available here. You still can go for the Ambessa, but that has actually not been a champion that we've seen too much from 369. And I'm kind of looking across the board. At least from what 369 has been playing this split, I don't know if we're necessarily going to see a lot of those counters that we've been seeing in seasons past.
Might be an opportunity for TheShy to get a huge advantage for the first time this series, as unfortunately, if you remember from game 1, he didn't get a chance to play the game because off of that wave bounce, Kanavi pretty much ended his whole game, and then being able to reappear with JackeyLove and Hong off the teleport. 369 thinking about what champion he can take as an answer. We were talking about the Jace, but, it was for TheShy, and this time 369 is ready to slam the hammer down.
This is really risky, though, because if Poppy gets into the area, Jace can be really stifled here early into the game. Poppy's going to gain more stats. Annie can have that point and click that Jace doesn't really deal with all that well. So we get into the back end of draft, more of the same of what we got from the first series, or the first game here in this series. Bottom lane not yet chosen, and now a big focus going into the supports, considering we saw how much impact Hong had on that Alistar.
Right. With Alistar taken off the table, Rel becomes the next big priority for multi-man engage, big AoE setups. Meiko is also something that clearly IG were considering and making sure that Hong didn't get his hands on. I will say that Top Esports do not have a true frontline for the time being. Poppy is not going to be a super high economy tank unless Wei just happens to have a pop-off game and is getting a ton of gold for himself, but this opens up an opportunity for supports to be the one true front line that either of these teams will have to rely on when it comes to setting up these engages.
Yeah, technically Poppy can be a flex, but we imagine that this is going to be going over to Wei. In terms of 80 carries, though, I'm kind of looking down the list right now. This might be a game where Jhin comes through for JackeyLove. I don't imagine it's going to be on 4 with the priority on Rel that you were speaking about. I think also Nautilus becomes pretty interesting when you think about how short-ranged and immobile a champion like Annie could potentially be in this game. So we'll see what Top Esports want, because they have really crushing solo lanes right now. I mean, you have the Jason to Gwen. This is a very punishing matchup for Gwen early on, and if you kind of want a little bit more utility, we could get that from our bottom lanes instead.
Ooh, look at that. Called on 4 right there. JackeyLove is not afraid of what IG could look for, and they're going to ensure that they wait out IG's entire draft before they let Hong choose what he wants to take in this second game.
So IG, what is the bottom lane pair? Because Corki is still up and available if they want to get a champion that's going to give them some more skirmishing power and some poke versus the Jace and Orianna. They could also go for the Senna, which was banned, and would actually work really, really well with what their front line is showing right now with the Poppy and this Gwen. I think that a Senna could be something that's really, really good at augmenting that, as well as the utility of having that ultimate cross-map.
It would also give them a little bit of a late-game insurance policy, just so that if IG don't get the ground running for them in the early 10-15 minutes, the game is not entirely doomed. They just have to stall the game out from then. But with the current hover, IG might instead just rely on the early pushing power of Corki. Not to say that Corki doesn't scale, but not in comparison to something like a Senna.
All right, so Nautilus, Leona, Rakan's already banned, and obviously we have Alistar and Braum taken away. I think that this game comes down to top lane right now. You look at this matchup, this should be in favor of 369, but I feel like a lot of what top esports want to accomplish hinges on 369 and Jace being able to be self-sufficient, dangerous in a side lane, and you come and collapse on a team fight and have a overwhelming advantage. So I want to see both junglers, how they're pathing, how our supports are interacting. Don't think we're going to be seeing another lane swap, but maybe with the fact that Jace has a little bit more range, it's something that's potentially on the cards. I'm again looking at our junglers to have a huge influence here.
For top esports, they already walked away from game 1 with a massive dominant showing against Invictus Gaming. Definitely not something that IG want to leave the series with altogether. They want to end the series on a high note, at least being more competitive with top esports. One of our top 2 teams in the league as we were rounding down the remaining series in this second round robin and getting closer and closer to the end of the Rumble stage. Every series win matters. Every game win matters in affecting where you end up in the standings.
And very important, because our 2 teams, I think, most illustrated, bottom of your screens there, that lower third there. Top esports 8-1, Invictus 5-3. There is a huge gap between our top 2 teams and the rest of the league right now. So being able to close that gap is really important. And for top esports, making sure that they can keep up with their rivals right now in the regular season in Bilibili.
Top esports want to assert themselves as one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant team. Their big matchup against BLG is tomorrow. Let's see if top esports can end on a high note and give themselves the biggest confidence as we head into game 2. Was she covering his mouth?
That is a house divided. That is my girlfriend supports IG and I support top esports home right there. I respect that. I get that. Producer Kai just looked at me with a strange face. I have definitely stopped him from trying to cheer for a team when we were at an event.
I love. Oh no, IG's bullies.
That's the wrong lower third. Wrong lower third. I heard the oak from him. Dude, nice. Just keep getting them. See, just.
That was a Krug.
Go to bed, old man. Go to bed. It's fine.
We'll see if Kai is given the early relief from a top esports victory against IG, or if IG will continue to extend the series for a full 9-game banger day on Super Saturday. Wei already contesting the Raptor camp against Kanavi. He's getting dropped pretty low, and they're not burning down the... Okay, he got the smite off of him, the Raptor camp, but because Kanavi got a majority of the small Raptors, neither of the junglers here are able to hit level 2.
But Kanavi gets to start his camps a little bit earlier here, and TheShy misses out on the first half of this minion wave. So while this was to try to stop Kanavi in the early game, this is ending up a huge advantage and playing into what 369 wanted to accomplish. Looking at the runes real quick, I love this from 369. sometimes being able to deal with the Gwen, the slow when you're in the later phases of the game from her ultimate can be pretty dangerous. So Phase Rush gives him a little bit more mobility to be able to play against that.
Yeah, 369 already getting the push advantage here. The nice thing for Wei, though, I didn't even realize it at first, but it was the smite from Kanavi that unfortunately missed. Wei got the last hit onto the big raptor, so he had the extra smite to accelerate a little bit of his clear. Kanavi has to wait on this last smite. We'll see if he needs to use it for the red buff. But this is going to be 369 left on an island. Does Wei make a pivot and just try and tackle and burn a summoner spell off of 369, if not threaten lethal here?
Oh, and look at this. Creme gets priority in the mid lane, allows for Kanavi to go straight into enemy raptors and contest. This is a massive win, and look at Hong. They've got priority. I don't think he's going to make the full move on over, but if they get word that Wei is in this area, I imagine that they have to be pinging it out. You see, they're like, they don't know where Nautilus is right now.
Kanavi is just going to smite it away. Has the clone if he needs it. Wei cannot find an angle for the wall slam, so Kanavi will just take solace in the fact that he is able to deny one camp away from Wei.
Very important, though, that they spot Poppy down there, because now they know, hey, 369, you're free to go. You're free up on this top side. You are not going to have to deal with a Poppy potentially trying to ruin the early game here. So really important that we watch more of this lane in the top side, especially for the fact that 369 has already blown through a lot of his potions, and he doesn't have a ton of mana. So going to be a little bit worried, especially as TheShy stacks up those grass procs.
Because he doesn't have a health advantage anymore, it's harder for him to step up in melee form to get that mana sustain back. So top Esports' top laner is starting to struggle a bit against TheShy's Gwen. We'll see if Kanavi can influence the lane. Remember, in the game one, he completely ruined it for TheShy, but he's playing Wukong this time around, so he doesn't have nearly the same setup that he did with the Xin Zhao in game one.
Okay. Does Wei get double scuttle here? Looks like he wants to try to play for Raptors. It is respawn Raptors here, and if Kanavi can get access... Oh, he wasn't spotted here. He should have been spotted on the minion wave, though. That's not the case.
Versus level 3. Wei is forced to pop the steadfast presence just for the extra movement speed. He procs the phase rush as well. Kanavi's going to dash in. Does he want to flash for flash on this one? Kanavi cannot get his cooldowns back up in time, and that is Wei now losing a flash, and now Kanavi is walking over to the top side. There's no camps here, but he'll just be able to control the Scuttle Crab.
He'll know that Gromp is respawning, though, because that timer will just be global for him once he looks at the camp. So now he knows, hey, he has potentially 2 topside camps. I'm going to do mine here, and then maybe I look for my recall once I hit level 5.
Rookie just TP back to lane. Creme is going to have a chance to TP back and match it as well. I'm curious if top esports can start communicating with each other on their solo lanes to work with Kanavi to get the invade going down. But as I say that, Wei is already back on the top side of the map, so looks like there will not be an opportunity to make the counter jungling happen. But remember here, Kanavi does not need to get the early game completely rolling here for IG.
That's true.
The scaling is a little bit on IG's side this time around. They're not completely doomed if the early game goes completely wrong, but top esports don't have to play nearly as fast, and if Kanavi is able to get through early levels into a smooth 6 power spike, top esports are going to be on a strong start again.
I think IG's comp is simpler to execute, but top esports, I think, do have more damage that they can utilize later on in this game. It's just about, again, whether or not top lane is going to be effective. Now, Meiko was the first one to recall out of their 2 supports, but he's going to be trying to see if he can make a wraparound play. Hong says, I'm not going to even play these silly games around Vision. I just want to protect and get priority around mid.
Nice respect from Creme, immediately flashing, but the Tibber stun from Rookie. Hang on,
Kanavi.
the shockwave pulls him back in, and Kanavi's here. He's not level 6 yet, but the flash straight from Hong finds Rookie, and that's first blood for top esports, and Kanavi follows Meiko over the wall with a flash of his own. Oh my goodness, it's another top esports miracle, and Wei, is he going to fall in the tower next? He's a little too tanky for that, but man, IG in the early game cannot match against top esports.
Look at where JackeyLove is. He was ready to deadly flourish Wei if he continued to walk forward. He cannot walk anywhere in his bottom side jungle. There is so much vision here from top esports. They're going to have to reset. I feel really bad for Creme. He just came back to lane. He has to immediately take a recall. We get right into this replay, and Hong, living for as long as he does, there's no damage. IG, I don't think if they, I don't know if they were coordinating whether or not they actually wanted to engage onto Hung. It seems like Rookie was pushing for it, but Wei didn't really have his heart in it. And that turns into 2 free kills and Nautilus surviving this entire fight. We get right back to live. And Kanavi is going to get closer and closer to that level 6 mark after he finishes these wolves. Imagine he's going to be on that time for that space.
And I know the Flash Dredge line is definitely going to be the one that remains the freshest in our minds, but for me, the best single play out of any individual, it's just Creme. Flashing immediately away as soon as all 3 members go up. He doesn't drop any HP. He's able to reposition. Now, 369 might be in trouble here. He knows that Rookie does not have Flash from before. Unfortunately, I don't think it matters. 369 pops.
Oh my god, the face rush.
Oh my god, never mind. 369 is out of there.
I told you, man, that phase rush is so key for this. Makes it so he can get out there. Rookie and his team. I mean, Rookie doesn't have Tibber, so a lot of that damage is missing. Remember, they took out a lot of damage from her spells to put it back. Or, yeah, they took a lot of her ult damage and put it into her spells, but, I mean, Rookie doesn't have any damage. She has a Darksteel and an Amp Tome here. So, TheShy tries to get him down. This will mean that 369 is going to miss out on a wave and opens up for IG to get these grubs, which is very important for a team that we're talking about, hey, can Gwen be imposed on a side lane? You're going to have a Jace in this game.
Did you get hit by Mimi on the side? You guys can't
No,
see it
she's just in my chair. She's in my chair right now. It's not like I was going to sit down, but, you know, I've been walking around. I'm just trying to stand a little bit more.
Jump scare from the cat.
Yeah, literally, though. She will swat at me. But we're seeing some early invades here from Kanavi. He does have Smite, and it is an upgraded Smite versus Wei.
900, easy clap. Kanavi able to secure a blue buff away from Wei. And we look at IG's conditions for the next couple of minutes here while Rookie is down to Flash. You can see that with the Darksteel purchase, I imagine it makes even more sense why Rookie was so aggressive on pushing forward despite Creme flashing early, because they wanted to get the snowball rolling. Unfortunately, even though Creme doesn't have Flash on this Orianna, normally I would feel like, okay, it's a control mage, no Flash. That means this should be an easy setup. Poppy doesn't bring a lot of damage, especially if she doesn't get rolling here. Curtain call.
Hong is coming, though. Ah, that's tough, JackeyLove. And he missed the deadly flourish. Okay. Happens to the best of us. You get one. DBT's not going to be too happy about that one, but really aggressive trade coming in from Gala.
You know, sometimes you just gotta test the waters here. Make sure that Gala is keeping on his toes, and then you start conditioning him. I don't know. I don't know why I'm coping for JackeyLove. I don't need to do that. That's
yeah, dude. It's okay. You can pay your rent. Show the cat, but we're on the. How are we gonna get my cam on the stream?
We will do it at the end of the game.
Okay.
We will try to do it at the end of the game.
Hold up.
No.
Okay.
No,
wait. There's a fight. Do your job.
Yeah. Chat, we will have to wait until the end of the game to show the cat. Oh, what? Okay.
There we go. Oh, we still have these cameras from our old draft setup.
There you go.
Say hi, Mimi.
There you go.
Okay. We're putting her down.
Well, you know what,
this is a very
Dimitri,
important game.
because Wei is currently taking the blue buff, I don't think any action is erupting anytime soon. And something that has been clearly happening in this game, as a ghost is popped by Hong, there's been a massive pro diff in the jungle from Kanavi so far this series. And if you want to maybe level up your own game so that you can make your own pro diff, go ahead and check out prodiff.gg, which is one of the sponsors that makes this show possible. They provide one-on-one coaching with current or former pros from the NACL and the LTA. Use the code LPL10 to save 10% on prodiff.gg. Go ahead and schedule a 1v1 today with the coach, and hopefully you can start making your own pro diff in your own solo queue game.
Don't worry, you know who was also on that lineup? Hold that as nothing really lands onto Rookie. You're talking about one-on-ones. Dokla, he might even take over your account like we saw on LTA. Never know.
Oh my
Kanavi is moving on towards the bottom side of the map, so IG are going to play towards the other side. They're going to see if they can catch out 369. He does not have Flash, and Creme doesn't have a teleport to match. That ward behind him should let him know, hey, there's probably some plays going on here. Top Esports are immediately recalling. They want to see if they can counter.
Okay, 369. I don't know if he's going to be living for that long. Here comes all 4 members here. The steadfast presence pushes him away, and it's Meiko taking up the turret. He falls! Okay, I think 369 is still going to be content with that. That's Fate of Warfare secure for Top Esports, and Creme is now threatening. He has Flash available, slows down Wei with the command dissonance, but doesn't look like it's going to be an opportunity for a shockwave. He will stop the Shy's recall for now. as he gets vision on the bush.
All right, some 6s though, right? Like we're rolling some 6s. I think some 369 fans, myself included, could say that some part of this game so far has been some 9s, but I'm willing to be, you know, a little humble here. They're going to try and make a dive on the opposite side here. It is going to be Creme focusing on getting turret plates, and while this is happening, 369 has teleported down to the bottom side of the map. No one from IG is going to be able to match this. It's going to be unsolicited gold here for the top laner of Top Esports.
Yeah, just really solid from Top Esports, identifying that TheShy was the only one with a TP advantage. So 369 is getting a lot of solo time for himself. It does force Rookie to respond, since TheShy was pretty much pinned on the top side of the map, not being able to move. So now Top Esports continuing to extend what was a play made by IG trying to punish and put 369 behind. He's totally fine at the end of the day.
I wonder if he's going to rotate, though. I mean, Dragon spawns now, and Creme is on the top side of the map. Will Top Esports play for this? They already got the first Dragon of the game, and they could look to, like we said, prioritize gold. Turret plates are going to fall in the next 30 seconds. It looks like instead Creme, he's going to take this wave and move on down. TheShy does have teleport if he wants to be here for this objective, but I imagine probably wants to at least squeeze a little bit more from that turret before he moves.
I imagine that TheShy is so close to his first item being, I think it's a Rift Maker being completed. Yep. So ideally he would like to fight on that one item spike rather than just components here. 369. He has flash. He gets stunned up by Tibbers, and quick E flash away, being able to punt way back. JackeyLove now is trying to walk up and threaten because Hong was waiting in the tri-bush. Do they want to play off of this? Hong is going to back off, give space over to Wei. And the rest of IG is starting to take control of this bottom river entrance, as Top Esports are not necessarily blitzing for the Dragon anytime soon.
Yeah, Rookie doesn't have ultimate, but he is going to be able to teleport back into this fight. 369 enters back in, pushes the bottom lane wave. And now let's see, can they jockey for position? It's on to Hong.
Hong gets jumped. JackeyLove might be caught out here. Magnus Storm is going to stun him up. Good cleanse. Repositioning still has the 4th bullet shot here. But Kanavi gets caught. And now IG have a massive advantage. JackeyLove is forced to flash away. And for the first time, IG are able to find a strong window in getting back into this game.
Ooh, TheShy also pressuring onto Creme. Never got that recall off, but stopping Creme from moving out. That could have potentially been a turret there for IG if the mid laner from Top Esports had moved on over. Finally some fight back early on into a series here and early on into this game. As IG, they get 2 kills, they get that shutdown off of Kanavi, and they're able to grab that Dragon. So a good start here in this game.
I really want to see the replay. Unfortunately, Creme does not get a chance to stop the recall off of TheShy there. I just need to see how Kanavi gets caught out here. Okay, so
he starts up the Dragon. This is dangerous though, because I mean, Top Esports, they're not in a position to start this Dragon. And Dragon is just pelting him over and over and over again. Kanavi puts all of his weight into trying to stop Wei, but Gala does a hell of a lot of damage on this Corki right now, and made sure to put it to good use.
Almost seemed like a disconnect from Kanavi and Hong there, because he throws out the Death Charge. What seemingly looks like a disengage and runaway maneuver, and Kanavi says, okay, let's start fighting, but JackeyLove was not set up in position. This invade, though, might be punished. Kanavi still has a flash. He uses the clone. Creates enough distance. Now Top Esports are going to look to go back in. Dredgeline right on top of Meiko. The shockwave! Good night, Meiko. He's going back to the fountain on that one, and IG are not going to be able to find a way back in.
That looked like Z-Axis diff, because there's no way that Deadly Flourish landed onto Meiko. Somehow that ends up being the case. Hong gets started and engaged upon. He's going to go down. Okay,
well, Kanavi, Cyclone is coming up in the next 5 seconds. They need to stall for that ultimate. Flash from Rookie over the wall. Kanavi just might get caught out here. Just one more auto attack. It's the Q hammer shock from Wei as he picks up a double.
We said that Poppy was a great champion here for Wei, and he is making it happen here in this game. Closing up gold leads, finding picks onto TES, who are trying to play the game a little too fast here. A lot of focus went into this top side, and I mean, JackeyLove just doesn't have enough damage right now to deal with Gala, nor with the rest of this team. That was a fantastic re-engage from Rookie.
Alk, you know how we said at the beginning of the series, Top Esports tends to live and die by Kanavi and how well he does in the early game? Well, It's not a huge gold advantage for the side of IG, but they have made back-to-back punishes now on Kanavi being a little too adventurous and overextending his welcome here, and it's been great punishes. We'll just have to see if IG can continue to leverage that against top esports.
IG putting resources into top side. Let's play around Rookie's lane. Herald is going to take this down. Creme does have flash to be able to get out of this. Shockwave on the other side. Doesn't matter.
Man, it was a nice attempt from Creme, but the flash is followed up by Meiko with the Magnastorm. And that guarantees not only the first turret falling, but IG continuing to ram it for another turret potentially in the top side of the map.
And this was with Kanavi going into the bottom side. He's going to take 3 camps away from Wei. But like we had mentioned, I don't think it matters now. I mean, with 3 grubs as well for Invictus, they just got 3 turrets in a short amount of time. That mid lane tier 1 had fallen as well. So Wei and Rookie are very fed. 369 is teleporting through.
Rookie, he's going to try to teleport out, so he will escape. Wei could be the target here. No flash available, but there was no one that could cut off his escape route there. Wei is just zooming, baby.
And that was a half of a wave in mid lane missed because JackeyLove and Hog were moving on over. This is Kanavi playing that aggressive style that we've seen from him. He wants to try to steal every camp away from the enemy jungler if he can try to utilize his priority. And this starts off great. We picked off Meiko. This should have just been top esports moving over to the Herald. But I think Hong playing that too aggressive spot ends up making it, so IG have it way back into this.
It almost looks like a sunk cost fallacy. You see your support go in, gets picked off, you try to rectify the odds there, and it's just a successful punish by IG members to continue following up with the play as topside 369's in trouble. He had flash, but he's still dead either way, and this is not looking good for top esports as they can try to stabilize the map, but IG is running away with the advantage now.
Why are they over-forcing on the side lane waves right now? Because Creme is up 30 CS, but because Annie has gotten 2 turrets for herself, the gold lead is actually in her favor right now. So they've put in a lot of effort of trying to get this bottom lane wave, probably in preparation for this dragon. 20 seconds before it spawns, TheShy can cancel. He doesn't have needlework, but Wei and Meiko are on their way. Gala
They have to fight their way through. They have to fight their way through. It's the only way out, but Wei has finally arrived and TheShy has bought enough time. Yes, he goes down, but you have to imagine that this fight is going to go well for the side of IG. Gala just ripping apart Creme with the help of Rookie, and JackeyLove is too far away to aid his comrades out. Top esports lose another 2 members, and IG's gold advantages continues to climb.
This is that over-aggression that we saw from top esports. It worked for them in game 1 where they can consistently snowball on their opponents. But here we're IG, a little bit more resilient. They have more ways to be able to play. And an early game that wasn't crushing for them. Now they're in a huge lead. Look at the jungle lead right now. Wei, a full item. Already Dead Man's Plate completed here at 20 minutes where, as Kanavi, he's barely finished with his Trinity Force and a Tunneler right now. So look at this. This is a great gold graph coming on through, and all of those turrets falling in short succession here for Invictus Gaming set themselves up for a Game 2 victory.
And Wei being able to bounce back from a disastrous game 1 on the Pantheon. You called it. This is one of his best champions that he's been able to perform with for IG so far this split. He's 4-0-4. He was the first champion to pick up a second item for himself, Sunder Sky into the Dead Man's Plate. We talked about it before. Poppy doesn't typically do a lot of damage unless she gets accelerated, and lo and behold, we have arrived to that point. So now not only Poppy doesn't necessarily have a level advantage against Kanavi's Wukong, however, she's got a gold advantage, and this Poppy becomes super, super difficult to deal with.
I'm looking at this right now, Raafaa, and there's 2 items coming on through for a majority of the players in this game, except for Kanavi. Looking at the items between our 2 AD carries, JackeyLove going for the RFC. He is never hitting any relevant damage through this Poppy, and Gala is about to be done with his Muramana.
Kanavi opens up with the Cyclone of the Rookie. He follows up his own flash, but just not enough damage because Hong can't get in there. He's already used the Death Charge, but he's way too deep surrounded by members of IG, and JackeyLove cannot find any meaningful damage with the Curtain Call, so Rookie will get a chance to recall and look for a teleport to answer on the Otacon with the numbers advantage.
There's not that many places. It's going to be on the top lane wave here. Corki's going to push this one out. Creme, if he really needs to, can look for it if he needs, but he has the ultimate available. Hong up in 8. With Ghost, he can get here pretty quickly. I wonder if and when he'll get access.
Oh! Flash from Wei! Creme is pinned against the wall, but the phase rush movement speed allows him to escape, but they can't say the same about 369, who got jumped by the remaining members of IG on the top side. Now it's a 5 versus 3. Creme, Kanavi, and JackeyLove have to pick and choose their battles here, but the Otacon is already lost. They're trying to look for a quick pick onto Meiko. Just not much that they can do, and IG are slowly but surely running away with this game.
I thought that was pretty cute there from Meiko. He uses the barrier from his spellbook to prevent any of the damage from the 4th shot of Jin, and that damage from Top Esports is just not there. Creme going for a pretty unique build here. Rod of Ages into Horizon focus, so wanting a little bit of that hyper shot and the HP. We'll see on the other side. We were so focused on the engage onto the Otacon. 369, he had no idea that Rookie was in this side. He gets the flash out, still ends up going down, and I just think that this Jace was really risky and has been punished excellently so by Invictus Gaming.
369 has not gotten a chance to really influence this game for Top Esports. He's hit 2 items, so in theory, these accelerated shock blasts should hurt the backline members of IG, but he has never been given an opportunity to set up for it, and now IG are just cruising on through, continuing to bully 369, giving him the treatment that TheShy received in game 1. Good Magnastorm follow-up by Meiko.
Wait a minute.
369 actually gets out with the phase rush. Top Esports trying to follow up, and Wei gets shut down, and the gold bounty goes over to Creme. Shockwave doesn't hit, but that's okay, as Rookie is able to answer back onto Creme in the aftermath. Top Esports still have their jungler though, but there's no objective to play for the next minute.
That was the flash out from Gala, so pretty important summoner spell that Top Esports were able to grab out from IG, protecting this bottom lane turret. Oh, Kanavi.
With the Cyclone right on top of TheShy, the rest of IG are disconnected, but Gala already eliminated Hong, and Kanavi falls again. They were trying to play off of 369's teleport, but he just didn't arrive fast enough, and it was too fast from the side of Top Esports trying to make that play, and what could have been a window has now just been enveloped further by IG in the advantage.
Look at the difference now between some of our players. I mean, 5,000 gold lead here for IG. They've got the Otacon, they've got 3 grubs, 2 dragons to their name, and they can kind of have their pick of the litter when it comes to objectives. Baron spawns in 15, that dragon spawns in 45. They do so much damn damage in this game, and Gala is not going to get any weaker, especially with that true damage passive that he has access to. Gala really stepping up when he needs to here in this series. Same thing with Wei, who we've had questions and doubts for on this IG lineup.
It's overall his first death, but still, he is creating the windows for IG to succeed in this game and potentially bring us to a game 3.
I mean, the Shockwave, like you said, doesn't land on anybody there. Tibbers, the burn from the Malignance ends up doing the last bit of damage. And I think you just called this perfectly. Top Esports, a little too fast. Wait for the TP to complete so that you can pincer on the rest of this. They don't even get TheShy from all of this play. We look in the picture-in-picture right now. IG are going to take their 3rd dragon of the game, and it seems like Top Esports, they're getting desperate. They're going to start setting up death bushes, trying to play whatever pocket of vision they can control on the map.
Still a 4,000 gold deficit that Top Esports have to overcome. Second item spike is now online for Kanavi. And the Wukong will always start to feel like a threat the later the game goes on, but it is just so hard to reliably get through this Poppy. As TheShy is able to block out the damage from the Shockwave thanks to being inside the miss, aka Gwen is immune. Second tier turret falls to IG, continuing the advantage. Cloud Soul will be available for IG in 4 minutes time. Baron's available. What are Top Esports options here, Dimitri?
Well, they still can make picks on side lanes, but they need to make sure that no one from Invictus is going to be able to match. That's the issue right now, is they played it very heavily towards the bottom side so that they could get Creme gold, but that hasn't really worked out, and IG are doing a really good job of suffocating the vision away from IG. Also, we need to just wait until we actually deal some damn damage on this composition. Look at my items right now. Look at the amount of tank stats that IG have access to. I mean, just looking at Rookie alone, he has the additional HP coming on through from the Bloodletter's Curse. The Seeker's Arm Guard is going to give him resistances there. So until JackeyLove finishes IE, I'm really not looking forward to anything. Creme's getting close to a Rabadon's, but like those are really the only meaningful item breakpoints we're going to be having in any kind of relevant amount of time.
You know, something I'm very frustrated about is looking at the itemization top esports went for across the board. Someone needed to communicate, I'm going for Armor Shred this game. Kanavi could have gone Black Cleaver second if JackeyLove said, I'm not going Last Whisper second or third item. That doesn't happen. So IG just say, hey guys, they don't have any armor penetration whatsoever, so we're just going to be rocking with a bunch of armor from Seekers, from the upgraded steel caps. Like you said, how is top esports going to punch through all of these resistances right now?
Maybe they're waiting for Kanavi to pick up the the Black Cleaver, right? Like that I feel like could make sense on 3. Would have expected it maybe from 369, who you can go for tankier Jace builds than this. You could go for Spear of Shojin, gives him access playing later in the game. 369 is trying to play on the side lane right now, get level 16. Look at what top esports are doing though. Moving Hung and JackeyLove as well as Kanavi through the jungle and allowing for their solo laners to pick up XP.
Hong tries to follow up with the engage, but he gets stopped by the Steadfast Presence. He is thankfully pushed out by Wei. IG are able to control the space for now. Dredgelight connects. Oh. Kanavi with the Cyclone, not the Cyclone, the Shockwave. Now he pops the Cyclone, but Rookie was able to dodge with the Stasis, Magnastorm, and a massive knockup from Wei. And top esports are forced to retreat, but they get dropped on their jungle and mid laner. 369 cannot even contest space, and JackeyLove is fleeing for his life. Hong gives his own just to make sure that the AD carry can make it out alive. It ends up being a double for Gala, and IG continue to extend their lead to over 7,000 gold.
Do they just end? Because they have another wave coming in after this. They have 3 grubs as well with the Tibbers. This could be the end of the game.
Curtain call from JackeyLove trying to kill the minion wave off, but everyone from IG steps up and blocks the curtain call bullets. Here we go, boys. The Kings of Chaos came back to play in Game 2, and we're going all the way to Game 3.
It's a 9-game day here on our Super Saturday. 3 series, all of them going the distance here. We had a mega long game in game number 3 of our last one as well between Ultra Prime and Thunder Talk. And honestly, it is absolutely unexpected, not unexpected, to see that IG are looking to push top esports here. A round of silence, or maybe applause, I don't know, some kind of help for our producer. Kai has he had a 9 to 5 they had to do earlier today, so he was already up around 7 o'clock. So he's been up for 24 hours, unfortunately.
I'm giving my moment of silence right now. Shout out to our producer Kai, our socials, and our mods. This is the dreaded 9-game scenario that many whisper about, but hopefully, or at least we're hoping, we're not going to come to fruition. But lo and behold, Ultra Prime and Thunder Talk delivered, JDG and WE delivered, and now IG and Top Esports have done the same. So, for IG fans, they're happy because their team fought back. And for Top Esports fans, how would you summarize their reaction, Dimitri? Is this just like, I guess, an expected, or is there room to be like, guys, this should not have happened? Because this isn't the first time.
We said that the draft was really oriented around top side. We had an early invade coming in through from IG. It still ended up with Kanavi actually finding advantages early on, right? He was ahead of Wei in the early game. He got to steal respawned Raptors as well as some of his other camps and was generally ahead of the game. But top lane never panned out. Gwen got nerfed very early on into this year to take down her HP and her armor. Jace should be a winning matchup there. Jace barely went even in this. And yes, there was a lot of attention, but that is the game plan that you come in with when you see the rest of this comp. Jace saw at least 3 champions come out. He saw Annie, he saw Gwen, and he saw Poppy. He should know that he has to go either a specific build or he has to change up how they play. that never panned out, and that means that IG just get to kind of run away with this Gwen and be very dominant, especially with the playmaking that Rookie had alongside his jungler.
And it was great persistence from IG, because remember, the way that this game started, it was a 3-man overforce from IG onto Creme. He immediately flashed away, and they still try to continue the play on the Hong, and it gets completely lopsided after Kanavi comes in for the counter gank. And I was kind of ready to say, yep, Top Esports have clowned IG again in the early game. The game is over. There's Top Esports should be able to carry on the snowball through. Nope. Rookie says, I don't care if we didn't get that play to be successful. I'm looking topside. I'm going to try to kill 369. Okay, we didn't kill him, but we got his flash. Let's continue building the pace. Let's continue trying to play on these timers. And eventually, through sheer persistence and will, IG found a way. And, I mean, thankfully, it was through way on the Poppy.
These are the performances. I love this broadcast for the simple fact of, like, the whiplash that we've had so many times now. The first series, game 1 of Ultra Prime TT, we're like, oh my god, Ultra Prime, you're so good. Second game, they get absolutely clapped. Game 1, we're like,
Yeah.
Top Esports, you're so good. Way, what are you doing? You're gonna get benched. We gotta get rid of you. Game 2, he looks so good. You know, maybe we're doing a little too much reacting here on the desk, but Way got his champion and he got his way. So we need to see if IG are going to continue this path, especially as a team that is trying to bridge the gap between top 2 and top 4.
I didn't even see that Kanavi threw out the dab Pengu emote. That's, oh man, that feels bad. You could tell that Top Esports were operating with a lot of confidence, how that early kill scenario went for them, and then it's the overconfidence, it's the overstays that punished Top Esports in the end. Obviously, they're going to have to clean it up and pay a little bit more respect to IG going into Game 3, but because we arrive to another Game 3, Dimitri, champion pools start to open up even further. We get to see some scenarios here. One of the champions we were talking about, Nocturne, starts becoming a champion that can really influence how those mid-game scenarios come through. It has to be on Kanavi to make sure that he doesn't cause Top Esports to stumble alongside with him as he was trying to overextend a lot of the plays that he made on the map.
I mean, there's also some tanks that are gone, so Trundle has a little bit less value. Maybe we see that open up as a ban. The Azir for Creme, something that we haven't been able to see so far in this series. I am still wondering if Yunara will make it through. I know a lot of our pros find that she is very overtuned, especially in her dueling capabilities in the laning phase, but I don't know. I'm not quite sold on this champion quite yet. I think that our pros haven't, similar to Pantheon like we were talking about, they haven't found all the nooks and crannies that they can try to find outplays. So I wonder, as we go throughout the split, if we're going to be more open towards trying to find Yunara answers and different place patterns to try to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
Who's our MVP, man?
I feel like it has.
I could see it could Rookie. Honestly, it could be Way. I think Gala was actually a silent carry in this game, but he didn't really have to do much considering what we saw.
The game was opened up for him, and he didn't have to try and make miracles happen. He just got to put out damage. IG created the space for him. Yeah, I could see it going to any member on the top side. Way, Rookie, TheShy. I can concede to Rookie. I think the fact that the early game play went so poorly and they didn't find an immediate kill off of Rookie trying to roam to a side lane, boom, there it is.
Good to know. Glad to see. Great performance there as Raafaa, one last game. I want to apologize to Sophie for you, but one more game. 9 games today. We got to do it. It only feels right for the quality of games that we've gotten here. And especially, again, we are closing out our regular season soon. We are over the halfway point, and we're getting closer and closer to our Split 3 playoffs.
sorry.
This is
Not
LPL. We're not
class.
speaking Korean on here. Nope. Nope. Cut that right now.
Okay.
Do
well,
the
alright,
outro,
well,
dude.
Okay, well, y'all heard the big man on the right side of the screen here. We're going to game 3, but we're going to take a short break before we get there, so see y'all in a bit.